Hi. Welcome. Or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey, or at least I will be trying to. This is the reading for the 2-5 Human Design Profile. If you don't know your Human Design Profile, there is a link in the description for you to get your Human Design Body Graph. And, your profile will be one of the things listed specifically about your design. And you don't have to know a single thing other than, of course, your profile about human design in order for these messages to resonate. This really is intended to be an additional avenue to receive a message, because not every 2-5 is a Gemini or a Sagittarius. So, I try not to use a ton of human design language just so nothing really gets confusing. And of course, check out your zodiac sign readings if you haven't done so yet. Those are all done and up. We'll try to get through this. I have been struggling so bad lately to talk. This started, today is October 15th, which is a Tuesday, right? This started on Thursday, and I'm still, I just have not been in the mood to say words. In part, okay, that's way too many. In part because, I don't know why. We have the 3 of Wands that came out in the reverse. Look how these cards came out. Let's see. We have Judgment, 2 of Cups, 3 of Wands, and the reverse. Oh, let's move these down a little bit here. Okay. It's almost kind of like a zigzag. Huh. It's also interesting. I am going to be yawning, apparently, because I'm really not even sure. I did the 2-4 reading, and I yawned in it. I don't usually yawn, which I know is probably, kind of weird. I'm not tired. Maybe I am. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a reason to be anyway. So we will just take our time working through these cards. But there's 2 2s because Judgment is 20. Hello, babies. Hello, babies. Here come boys. Judgment is 20, which simplifies down to a 2. Obviously, we have the 2 of Cups out here. And then we go on to the 3 of Wands. 2s and 3s. So, let's start with the Judgment card. That is Pluto. Where Pluto is in Aquarius, it just went direct yesterday, I believe. But Judgment is also, it's the card that comes before the World card. And the World is the end of something. The Judgment card is like the decision, the point where you recognize where you are, where you've been, and make the decision to move on. truly, it's interesting. It's almost even kind of coming through that way. It's like, do you want to go back? Because it's really like two options. Like, you either go back in the direction that you just came from, metaphorically, or you make the decision that this lesson, the journey, circumstances, whatever, has concluded. There's an ending there. Even, we have this cicada here, and we can see its little exoskeleton here too, So there is an element of growth with the Judgment card. It's almost literally like it is your decision. Do you want to embody the growth that truly is there? I mean, like I would have no doubt that you recognize your own growth. Or or do you want to like stay the same? What is that saying that, man, I can't think of it now, but it's something about, it's like a flower that is scared to bloom or whatever. Like there's a little graphic, I think. I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, and I'm like, whatever. But it's like the discomfort of, or the pain in not blooming, not growing, is that worse or better than taking the chance to bloom? Even, when we think of things molting, or, I mean, I have no clue the life cycle of a cicada. I'm only assuming this is a cicada because I remember seeing these crunchy little exoskeletons on the trees, or the tree, I should say, in the house, that I grew up in when I was a kid in Vegas, seeing those and like plucking them off the tree, and of course hearing them buzzing around. But the reason why they do that is for growth, right? The next step, the next chapter in their life is a life with wings. Whereas before, they were only able to be on the ground or be climbing those trees, right? And the next step, the next experience even, was to experience life with wings, flying from above, which no doubt is a completely different experience than, just us land dwellers, And even like when I was saying about, like being on the ground or climbing the tree, or, just crawling on the tree, whatever they do, I was even just thinking about the journey that you have no doubt been on. I don't know, do they have to find like the perfect spot to molt, I don't know. Even, we think of caterpillars too, right? Like the metamorphosis that happens with caterpillars, and also how that is just, do you think a caterpillar or a cicada is hemming and hawing about, mm, do I want to make a chrysalis, and do I want to like turn to goo, and do I want to, like metamorph into a butterfly, Do you think they're, I don't think so. But, those of us, of course, humans with consciousness and whatever, like we have, fears and doubts and attachments and all of the things where we're just like, ooh, how is this decision going to change things for me? And also, how is this decision going to change my relationships? The ones I'm currently in, the ones that I hope to be in. And of course, relationships can be anything from, romantic, platonic, business. And also in this judgment card, I mean, the decision has been made already. This cicada is all the way out of its last expression. And even too, like with judgment, I always kind of think of um, court, and I was waiting to see if there was somebody walking by and my dog was going to start freaking out. Court, judgment, it's like considering all of the evidence. What can be proven? What is, factual? Trying to, you know, determine like what is true. So again, it's like all of the experience that you have thus far, whatever the situation is for you, and maybe it does have to do with personal relationships, or even to just how you interact in relationships, or attraction, attachment. It's considering all of that and deciding, is this working or not? What is working and what is not working? Where have you grown and where do you want to continue to grow? And like I said, we have the Two of Cups out here. I mean, this really does feel like a roller coaster. Like there's, this up, down, and whatever is happening with the Three of Wands, like once we get to it. Cups have to do with our emotions, how we feel about ourselves, about our lives, about the people in our lives, where we are concentrating emotional energy, you know, it's the emotional load that we carry. Love as well, of course, our relationship with love. How do we receive it? How do we give it? Both are important, you know? Now, I know that the Two of Cups is usually, people have deemed it as being a relationship card. And I've just never really have seen it that way. Um, because it's like, you know, the Ace of Cups is something new, you know, your cup is runneth over, right? Like, you feel fulfilled. You have managed to fill your own cup, like, you know, and maybe there's something that has contributed to that, right? Because truly we cannot pour from an empty cup. And maybe that is, you know, like finding a love for something, finding a love for someone. Mm. He almost missed him by the time he like walked by. That's funny. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we go directly from like having a full cup to then offering that cup to somebody else. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's definitely just been something that has been like swirling around in my brain a little bit. And funny enough, I've seen a couple videos on it, which is kind of funny, like just the timing of that. Um, I always talked about the Two of Cups in the sense of shared values. Like, if there is another person involved, and again, however that other person or that other energy would show up, because it doesn't have to be another person. It can be uh, a hobby, a job, a cause, right? A passion, just something that gives you back the same joy, the same love, the same energy that you give to it. So again, you know, that can be a person. It can be in a romantic sense. It can be a job, a business. It can be a friendship. You know, it could be a cause that you are very much passionate about. Uh, a craft or a hobby or, um, I mean, truly anything, right? And again, so you're coming in with your full cup. The other energy, whether it's a person, a thing, whatever, right? They also have their own full cup. So there's this almost like equal exchange of energy. Like, you're not having to fill their cup out of your cup to where now you're depleted again, right? And you're getting nothing really in return for that. because they came with an empty cup. Like what could they give you? Because again, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So both parties, both energies come in with the capacity, the availability, the maturity to interact with each other. And even to, on this Two of Cups, like we have these two jellyfish here. And even just the way that they're interacting with each other, to me, right? It just like, it's like two individuals with the same what? I know I said values before, but like with the same what's the word I'm looking for? With the same I mean, it is like nowhere in my head, but I'm like, I know that it's there hiding somewhere. Like, I just cannot think of the word. It's like you're both on the same path. You want the same things. What you are capable of giving in relation to emotions, to love, even your love language, your attachment style, that type of thing. If it's kind of more romantic, even if it is friendship too, what type of people do you want to have around, and how do you want to feel around these people? And how do you want them to feel around you? If it's a job, same thing. Like, do you want to feel good about where you're spending a third of your time? So, it like you're all, whatever it is, on the same path, headed in the same direction, wanting the same things. And then you link up. But it's a two, right? So it's still very much in the figuring things out phase, because all twos pretty much have everything to do with figuring out. It's like, okay, this ace showed up, now what? Right? Like, what do I do with it? How do I interact with it? What do I do to manifest it? Like, so, right, like it's still very much new, and it's still figuring things out, and it's still even feeling things out, since we're talking about cups. How does it feel? How do those connections feel? And then we have the Three of Wands in the reverse. Wands have to do with the actions that we take, the motivations behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what you get by trying things. You figure out what works, you figure out what doesn't work. What do you like? What don't you like? What stays? What goes? That's all information, right? And truly, a lot of those things cannot be figured out until you try. And when we get to the Three of Wands, that's when you start trying. Like, the Ace is, the spark. It's the aha moment even, or it's the being ready to take action. It's that motivation finally showing up. Like, I usually kind of see it as like striking a match. It can literally just like come out of the blue. The Two of Wands is planning for the future. So we have this Ace, and now again, right? Like when we get to the Two, what do I do with this? What are the possibilities? How do I want to take action towards these things? You might even be, researching things, getting more information. And then by the time we get to the Three, it's like, okay, I have enough. I feel prepared enough to where I'm going to start trying. I'm going to start taking action towards whatever. So I don't shuffle reversals into my decks because I think it's an OCD thing. I can't stand cards going two different directions. But of course, if whenever they come out in the reverse, we honor that. Now, reversals can be either the opposite of what the upright meaning is, or it can also be an internal thing versus, the upright being an external expression where, I mean, like you're physically taking actions towards something, whereas the internal would be almost like opening yourself up to the possibility. It's almost like getting, like I just kind of feel pulling in courage too. And either way on this card, it's literally a door. Upright, it's a door that way. Reverse, it's a door this way. It almost kind of feels like Hanged Man-y to me. Because truly, because this is upside, okay, so let me try to use my words, which I feel like I've been kind of doing an okay job so far. I've been intentionally talking a little bit slower, to let my thoughts and my words like catch up to each other. So upright, right? We have these irises here on either side of this portal, this door. Right? And this really would be like trusting the path. Right? I mean, it's dark back there. We can see, the Milky Way kind of, like is what that's bringing to mind. It truly is like a card of adventure, really, right? Which I don't know. I mean, to me, there would be like a sense of like courage and bravery there, to like go on this adventure, to literally walk through this door. I don't know. I am a little bit of a chicken shit, like I always have been. So some people might just be like, hell yeah, I see a door, I'm walking through it. Yes. I honestly, that's on my list of in my next life. Like I want to experience that feeling. I'm very like earth heavy though, so I don't know if that has, who cares? Anyway, reversed though, right? There is a different perspective here. And that is what the Hanged Man is, truly. It's literally changing your physical perspective by literally, like the Hanged Man is usually hanging by one foot. They're not stressed out. They're not in pain, like there's nothing, they're not anxious, there's nothing negative about it, but it literally took them having to change their physical perspective to see something from a different angle. There's also delay and suspension, that comes with the Hanged Man, because literally you can't do anything if you are hanging upside down from your foot, right? And two, even like I was kind of talking about with the Judgment card, it's kind of like, do you want to go forward or do you want to go backwards? The point of being suspended or allowing for that delay is really, to really decide, am I going for this? Am I seeing the full potential? Am I seeing the full picture here? Is there, again, a different way to consider something or to look at something? Even to approach something? Do you need a different motivation? Because I know, like for me, something that I've been working on is that, most of my life, my motivation was shame, guilt, a lot of self-hatred too. So trying to like take action towards something without having that motivation, it's interesting that it is so different. And even having to like catch myself if I kind of start falling back into trying to use those things to get me motivated to do something, to take action towards something. And when that happens, I kind of force myself to stop. I'm like, I'm not taking action out of fear or shame or self-hatred, like I'm not taking action from those places again. Because sure, has it worked? Yeah, to a certain extent, I guess, right? And for a period of time, it's not sustainable. But also, like, it's like, wanting to, because I don't want to have the same outcome. I don't want to have the same feeling of, kind of like dragging myself along or whatever, or even just kind of being in that energy. Have to kind of keep that going in order to keep the momentum, right? So it really is like coming from a place of love, acceptance, compassion, grace, right? So anyway, it could just be that too, right? Like it could be that your motivation has changed, and maybe it has something to do with how you interact in relationships. There's been this change here with the Judgment card. Something has shifted in how you are approaching relationships. It's like now you're kind of at that point, because there is this doorway here, right? You're at that point of, how do I proceed forward? And I do think that the Three of Wands is here to say that there is a different way, you know. You missed him again, huh? I was hoping that you weren't gonna see her. I purposefully didn't, like, you know, say anything. So yeah, you know, I mean, you might just need a different type of motivation. And it's, I 100% believe that you know that though too. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. And of course, if you are still here, thank you so much. And if you haven't done so already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. And it helps, I almost said TikTok. It helps, where are we? YouTube. Push out my videos so that more people can view them. And I would also appreciate if you liked the video, saved it, you know, leave a comment and say hi. Those are all free ways to support me and the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Cups. I kind of love that. Man, I love that after the Three of Wands in the reverse, and we're like literally talking about, you know, moving forward and changing your motivation around things. Is this all? Yeah, okay. I'm like constantly terrified that I, you know, like the cards aren't in the frame, but yeah, so all of this shit that we were like talking about with the Three of Wands, right? The Eight of Cups is literally that emotional, that decision to move beyond like what you have tried, what you have been served. Truly, right? Like there's these 8, granted, you know, this is a beach and this is trash. Love the octopus here. Now, every time I see an octopus, I think of that book. Whoops. I think of that book, Remarkably Bright Creatures. What was the octopus's name? Marcellus? Ugh. I loved him. Truly, like without him in that book, I wouldn't have been able to finish that book. But I also listened to it. So, you know, I'm an audiobook person. Anyway, so, you know, there's all of these empty cups, cans, glasses, whatever, right? And truly, the Eight of Cups is recognizing that, like, there's nothing left in those cups. And to even just the energy of things, right? Like, I truly believe that there is an amount of energy available in a thing, in the stuff that we consume, that we buy, the possessions that we have. That's why it feels so good to like clean, you know, and like purge stuff or donate stuff, throw stuff away, whatever, right? Because it's just blank used energy that we keep around until we decide to, you know, go on a cleaning spree, which I totally did. Not that long ago. I went through my entry closet and there were check stubs in there from the year 2000. I was 17. And I was making $6.56 an hour. And it's crazy that 25 years later, the federal minimum wage is like $1 more than that, which is fucking insane. But I'm like, are you kidding me? How, not only do I have that, but I can't even tell you how many times I have moved in the last 25 years. I moved to Colorado. I moved back home to Vegas. I moved back to Colorado. And I can't, like I said, I can't even tell you how many times I have moved in that 25 years. And why do I still have that? I found my first divorce papers. And that guy was in the Air Force. I found his like change of station. Anyway, my point is, it's just almost like I keep wanting to say dead weight. And for whatever reason, I kind of keep like stopping myself. But it's literally, it's just stuff that, there was energy in it at one time. It was used, like for its purpose. And it should have been tossed, or it should have been donated or sold, or, whatever, so that somebody else can use the energy of it. And we're still talking about the Eight of Cups. So with the Eight of Cups, it's literally recognizing that the energy of something, whatever it is, and maybe this Judgment card, maybe the Two of Cups, maybe the Three of Wands, maybe the whole thing. The energy has been complete. And not only is it complete, but you're moving towards the Nine of Cups, even though, like, I know we don't have the Nine of Cups out here, but I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if it was okay. I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny if it was at the top of the deck? It was the Queen of Wands, but the Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment, feeling fulfilled, your desires being met. It's getting exactly what you want, right? So the Eight of Cups is like, you know what? This isn't working anymore. There's nothing for me here that is, satisfying me emotionally, that is fulfilling me emotionally. I'm going to move towards my dreams. So that's why I love that the Eight of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, because you are going to move forward. You are going to, whatever this Three of Wands is for you, you are going to recognize and decide that you want more. You have desires. You have dreams that you want to pursue. And in whatever realm of the Two of Cups that is for you, and where you are in your journey and the growth that, it's like, it's also too, even really quick to wrap all this up with the Judgment card, it's recognizing that you have grown, that you're not the same little cicada that you were, that now you have wings. And that makes you a different type of baddie. So, it's interacting with people who are on that level. It's expecting reciprocity. It's expecting to get back what you are putting in, or at least that it's level, right? And it's approaching it from a different perspective, a different motivation. And all of that is going to give you this realization that, you know what I want is possible. And I'm going to focus on those goals. I'm going to focus on those dreams. I'm going to focus on how I want to feel. I love that for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon.